This is, if you've seen the review, Zach, you boy, did a review of Fearless. This is a study in failure. The book is a collaboration not only between all female creators, but also all the women of Marvel editorial. We work hard. Please, I don't know what that is. It looks like kind of a, if you look at it sideways, it kind of looks like a butt. First chapter of Marvel's female-driven anthology series. I've read it. It's very, very mundane. Okay, so it gets 416 retweets, and it gets 1.4k likes, and it gets, 50 comments. How many of these people... Here's the thing about these folks. They will gladly give you a retweet or give you a comment, but NPCs won't actually buy the book. The book looks great based on what, a cover of her face. Here's another thing about this cover. If you actually look at the book, the cover is from like the waist up, but the shot, she has no breasts. It's just a flat pectoral muscle. It's absolutely bizarre. Okay, so all these people are just saying how great it is, and they have it on pre-order. How many will the first issue sell? I'm going to guess 34,000. And I pulled that number absolutely out of thin air. Our buddy Phil here says, please clap. Circa 2016. Poor old Jeb Bush. Yeah. Okay, so say the first issue sells 40,000 because it's a number one and it's kind of different. And I'm sure all the the feminists will flock to the book. Say it's 40,000. Second issue will sell 20,000. Third issue will sell 15, and by issue 4 it will be down to 10. Just a guess. This post gets a little bit of pushback. We must omit and eradicate men for equality. Was this project created to balance all the comics and movies with no strong female characters? Oh wait, they all do. By the way, Stan Lee always made sure women were represented properly. Stop disrespecting his legacy. Rest in peace. Interesting. A little bit of pullback. You added this to your pull list. No, you didn't. I don't think you're telling the truth. Milkshakes for everybody. I could check. I wonder if that's a troll or not. Remember the Milkshake Girls? I remember the Milkshake Girls. Okay, so it's 3 issues, and for some reason they decided to extend it to 4 issues. That's sad. I mean, why isn't it 12 issues? Why isn't it a full year? Or why isn't it just an ongoing series? Because it won't sell. It's a 4-issue series, and it won't. It will sell the numbers. I said it will not. It will sell. Yeah, this is I read it because of the cover. So maybe these are the 400 people who bought the book. Anyway, when you go to you click on it and it takes you to Marvel, gives you a little explanation about. Find out more about the first issue. Kelly Thompson and others. Kelly Thompson is as far left as you can get. Just. I think she actually hates men. Fearless #1 is the first issue of female hero-driven limited series. Goes on sale. Brings together 3 of Marvel's fiercest women: Captain Marvel, the Invisible Woman, and Storm. Okay, Storm is good. I don't know about the Invisible Woman. Aren't all women invisible? Glass ceiling. #YesQueenSlay. Come together for an event way out of their comfort zones. Did we read the same comic? Because I didn't read anything out of their comfort zones. McGuire, Rowe, and Rosenberg. It's much more to Fearless in this new 4-issue series. No, it's pretty flat and unappealing, much like her pectoral muscles. Okay, written by Kelly Thompson, art by Canaro Bonvillain. Sorry, and a character very important, Millie the Model. Yeah. We'll continue the main story and continue new stories, likes of Black Widow, Miss Marvel, and more. Well, okay, Black Widow is an interesting character. Miss Marvel's not an interesting character. Nobody buys Miss Marvel. For more insights, first issue of Fearless, we speak to the writers. Why? Captain Marvel, Storm, Invisible Women have all been able to stand out throughout their decades. Aren't those... How many times has Captain Marvel been rebooted? How is that standing out? Standing out means poor sales? I mean, can we just admit there's an elephant in the room that you all are ignoring? To summer camp. No, seriously. They're keynote speakers at a summer camp for women's empowerment. It's a whole new gig for them. Yeah, that was one of the stories in a comic book. One of the characters goes to a summer camp for women's empowerment. Unbelievably stupid. Somewhere way out of their comfort zone. Punching things is easy, but speaking to a camp full of impressionable teens, oof. It's just... I don't... All three of these characters have been parts of teams, but now are getting their chances to operate in a brand new trio. Is this more liberating or a more challenging position to put them in? Yeah, I would keep them in teams, because at least teams you can sell well. Because if you have a team of, half dozen people, there's somebody in it that is going to attract a reader, where Captain Marvel would not attract readers on her own. It's more challenging, at least for the writer. How do you come up with something powerful enough to be a real challenge for these three ladies without it being a crossover level event that draws in every cape in a continent-wide radius? I mean, this is basically three living goddesses. Aren't all women goddesses? And you need something for them to punch. How about the glass ceiling? None of them has a huge ego to get in the way of doing their jobs, which is nice, unlike the writers at Marvel who do have huge egos. More liberating, because that team consists of all women, who are the most fun to draw. Why? You draw them looking like men. You literally give them all A or B cups. And when you draw them from the side or from the front, you put their hands in front of their breasts in every single panel, and you put their butts in shade. Their butt is literally shadowed out in every single panel. There's no fun in drawing that. That's lame. That's just censorship. What is it like to write Captain Marvel's story? Probably very, very boring. It's probably, you probably follow a formula. Now that she's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in front of a whole new audience, intimidating. But then a close friend of mine is the original #1 Carol Danvers fan, so it would have been intimidating anyway. I always live in a little bubble when I draw comics. Yes, all you people live in a bubble. It's called an echo chamber. And forget these people are actually going to see it. You've just burst that bubble. Oh, God. How do these people stand themselves? What quality of each character do you enjoy focusing on the most, since you basically got to give them your undivided attention in the book? I adore how practical and innovative Sue Storm is. She's been one of my favorites since I was a kid. That's how dry and funny Carol is. I've read every issue, and she's never been funny. She's as funny as cancer. Storm is Storm. She's a gift to write. I love drawing the characters interacting together and trying to give them each a distinctive feel. Nobody writes them brilliantly. Oh, this is a scene where I remember this. They're talking in space, but it doesn't show them having radios. So, is it telepathic? Because, sound waves need a medium through which to propagate. It's just dumb. Maybe they had radios. I just didn't notice it. It's the funny thing about reading these garbage tier comics is they don't stick with you at all, and you don't notice things when you read them because you just kind of want to get through them. They're just so dumb. Okay, but let's look at this scene they use as an example. Breasts, butt, not emphasized at all. They say, well, they're politically, they're SJWs or NPCs. They want to get away from emphasizing the breasts and butts. But that is a part of a woman's body. It's part of a man's body, the chest and the rear end. That's part of the human form. To not draw it or to just de-emphasize it, it means the image is flat and unappealing. The only thing good about this image is the colors. The drawings, you read a comic like this, you'd read one comic, and you just, like, you won't hate it, but you just won't pick up the second issue, and that's what happens. That's what's happening with these comics. Do you have any favorite moments of Marvel Her Story that, oh God help me, inspired you in the series? There are some pretty huge nods to the decimation of my storyline. The way the mutants rallied when that happened has shared a lot of how I see modern Marvel stories. I will forever love Ron's take on She-Hulk. The way he drew her was so powerful. I love when an artist can draw women without feeling the need to sexualize or feminize them. Listen, humans are sexual creatures, and men are usually masculine, and women are usually feminine. Think of it as like a bell curve or a spectrum distribution. Sexuality, femininity, and masculinity, and on different axes. To deliberately, you've got to have at least a few scenes where yes, they are feminine and sexual, because humans are we're not sex objects. Well, technically, at least young men and women who are capable of reproduction are sex objects. They are things, people, places, things, who have sex. They're sexual creatures. We're all here because of sex. It's an important part of stories. Being sexy is okay. What does being fearless mean to you? You probably don't even kill spiders. It means knowing anything is big and scary and pushing forward, no matter how impossible it might look. Kelly Thompson. Wow. You just wrapped up a really emotional story for Jessica Jones and Purple Daughter. What kind of story did she have in Fearless? Probably a very boring one. I'm not sure I'd call this a Jessica Jones story, but it does get to do a thing I love about Jessica Jones and PI characters in general, which is highlight how they know everyone and everything. People are always calling on them for bizarre things. There's always darkness surrounding Jessica Jones, but nothing can take away her power and her strength and her messiness. What's the best part of telling Jessica's story? It is so weird how they talk about female characters, about power and strength and fiercely intellectual and pride. Listen, if you wouldn't talk about the male characters in that way, don't talk about the female characters in that way. It's cringe. It's stupid. It feels like you're artificially propping them up, putting them on a pedestal, and it feels fake. I love writing Jessica. I'm especially proud of the story we got to tell with Purple Daughter. This wasn't Oprah Winfrey in that movie, but this is a decidedly undark Jessica Jones story, which is a nice change of pace. So it means it's... yeah, she's fighting industrial loggers or something, but most of the logging is done in South America, and they're not, obviously, blonde-haired people, but, blonde hair bad, and black hair good. She fights loggers. Go to, rainforest, Central America to fight loggers. But she can't do that because she couldn't have these as if three brown Central American people. It's just, it's haram. As a woman, telling the stories of women, do you ever bring a part of yourself to these characters? You need to have a vagina to write a story about people with vaginas. I think it would be impossible to not bring ourselves to these characters. As a writer of famous characters, you have to find that sweet spot between being true to the character and their histories and also bringing something unique to their voice and story. Hopefully, something only you can bring. That's what makes it special. And we are special. What does being fearless mean to you? I'm full of fear. Most people I know are. Try getting up on a ladder. Hard for me to even imagine a person being truly fearless. Yes, that would be a sociopath. And it's not a terribly relatable quality. I guess the more interesting idea to me is that of people overcoming fear. There's fearlessness in that, I suppose, that aspect of facing fear head on and plowing through regardless. I guess that's how I see fearlessness. Here's a gallery of the art of fearless come to life. You get a preview. Okay, did they show anything sexual in this? Nope. Nope. Just blonde hair bad. Anything sexual? Oh, my God. Actually looks like she has breasts in that. Wow. Wow, that is shocking. That is shocking. Those are... Whoa. Wow, I didn't think. Okay, stories written by a bunch of ideologues, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, this is on the Marvel website. You can, I'll say check it out, but don't. It's not worth checking out. And neither is Fearless. Fearless is definitely not worth checking out. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe.